Hello. Happy Saturday, everybody. I am going to do a little envelope for some Valentine decor. And so if you're able to watch, hop on and say hi. Let me know what you're doing today as I create this mini decor. All right. So hopefully I can see everyone's comments. Let me get my comment section up here. Hello, Cara. How are you today? And let's just see. Okay. Let me flip my camera real quick. Let's see. Settings. Mirror video. There we go. That way it's all right rating. Okay. So if you caught me last week, I think I made a set of mini books. And so I'm still on this little Valentine tiered tray kit, and I'm almost finished with all the bits that I want to create. And I have been promising to go live and show you my decor process, and so I'll do that this week. I just had a few more things I wanted to get in before I started that. So last week we made this. If you missed it, the tutorials on Facebook and our YouTube channel as well. So make sure to go check that out. But now I'm going to make a little envelope out of another piece of scrap wood that I had in the garage. Cara, I'm doing good, thank you. I'm just getting over a cold, but other than that, things are good. Hello, welcome. So I'm going to make a little envelope, and I'm going to do it a couple different ways. I'm going to do one side just painted, and then I'm going to do the other side with some paper. So we'll see which one we like best. I'm going to start with just a painted side here, and I think I'm just going to go white. And then I've got these cutouts that I used as stamps for a different project that I thought I could repurpose and put a little heart on the envelope like a sticker. So I've got a couple of those as well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start by painting my wood block white here. And we'll start with the painted side. Hello, hello, welcome. Let me know where you're watching from. And don't forget to, if you're new to the page, hit the follow button so you get notified when we go live and do fun crafts. The other thing I want to mention is we have a couple different groups on Facebook under the Redbyrd Design umbrella, I guess. And they were both primarily just for painting, and we would use those groups to share tutorials or tracers or supply lists, things like that. But we have since just kind of branched out from just painting to doing some crafts. So we have modified the groups a little bit. If you've heard me in the past talk about our clipboard collections group, that has now changed to just be our painting group. It's called Create Art. And then we had Fun and Flourish, which was more of a basic painting group. And we thought, why do we need two painting groups? We'll just have one painting group and then one crafting group. So one of the Fun and Flourish has now been changed to Crafty Living, which is where we'll share our crafting tutorials and supplies. And so if you're interested in joining any of those groups, head over to our Facebook page and check it out. And if you're watching from TikTok, the links are in my bio. We'd love to have you. Okay, so we've got our white here, and then what we're going to do is we will use a paint marker to outline our envelope lines. And where's my ruler? There it is. Acrylic paint dries super fast, which makes it a nice let's see, we've got 5.5, so we're about right here for the center. Just kind of eyeballing at that. So I'm finding the center here, and then I'm going to draw my lines. Start with the rectangle on the top, which would be your flap. And then from the about a fourth of the way from the bottom of the flap, we draw our line down to the other edge. And we've got our little envelope outline there that we will then use a paint marker to define that a little bit better. But that's a little bit wet, so let me just grab my blow dryer real quick. Shouldn't take long. Okay. And then I'm going to take my sanding block, and before I start, I'm just going to rough it up. I like that more worn look anyway, so I'm just taking this and essentially just removing the paint I just put down on all my edges. Roughing up the edges there, and I'll probably maybe do that again after I get my lines in, but you can start to see that wood kind of peek through on those edges, which makes that kind of fun. So then I'm going to take my paint marker, and if you didn't have a paint marker, you could just use a fine tip or a detail brush and any sort of paint that you have and do the same thing. And we'll come in and add our lines here. And then let's just add some lines around the edges as well. Okay. And then, like I said, I had these little hearts that I used for another project that I think would be really cute, just glued there. This needs to be repainted. It's got some black on it, so I'm just going to sand it real quick here, and then we'll put a coat of pink on it. Or actually, that kind of looks cute that way as well. Rough up the edges of this guy. And I think we're good with that. So I'm going to put a little bit of blue on there. Hello, welcome. If you're just joining, we are making a little envelope for a Valentine decoration. I've been on a mission to create some cute home decor pieces for a tiered tray I'm putting together. And so that is what we are doing. Last week we made these cute little books. So if you missed that, the tutorial is on our YouTube channel or Facebook page. And if you're watching from TikTok, the links are in our bio. Don't forget to hit the follow button so that you're able to see when we go live. Okay, let's add maybe some stitch marks around the edge of the heart here, just for something different. There we go. That's going to look super cute next to our little books that say I love you on a tiered tray. So this is one way that you can make an envelope. I'm going to flip it around and show you another way with paper. So this side is already painted white. I am going to give it a coat of brown though. Just because I'm using the brown, white, and pink as a color scheme or theme for my tiered tray. And with the paper, I'm going to create some areas where we see the wood peeking through. So I want to have that wood be peeking through my envelope pieces, which I'm going to cut out with the paper. All right. So let's blow dry this real quick. Okay. So we've got this side, that's just the plain white envelope with the pink heart, and now we're going to create the same thing on the back, but we're going to use some different, we're going to use paper to create the folds in the envelope. So I've got my 3 different pinks, and I might just do these 2. I'm not quite sure yet, but let's get our shape down first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this pink for this part of the envelope. And I'm just going to start by tracing the entire shape of the wood block onto my paper. And then we'll cut out the part that we need. Okay, so we have that. Just cut a little bit more off. Now I do want some of that brown peeking through, so I am going to start by just I want to remember to kind of cut it shorter than what we had. So let's use this as our template. We've got our center here. Where's my little ruler? We've got our center there. And so essentially what I'm doing is just taking and making an envelope on this. And then I can use this not only as my bottom piece, but also my template for my other pieces. Okay, so I've got my envelope here. And now we can cut out each of these pieces. So as you're joining, let me know what you're doing today. Where are you watching from? Okay, so I am now just trimming a little bit more off of my lines here. Again, I want to have that brown peeking through. So we're gonna trim just a sliver of everything. So we've got that piece that's gonna sit there. And then we will take the bigger stripe paper here. And this is the piece that sits here on this side, right? And so I'm going to lay this on my other paper. And you could do this with just one pattern paper, and that would be just as cute. But I'm going to switch it up and change paper a little bit here. I have a mix of paper on my envelope. And so for this piece, again, I'm going to trim off a little bit on all edges. Oh, I think it's this side, actually. No? What did I do wrong here? I think I cut it on the wrong side of the paper. So I didn't flip my paper around, so I cut it opposite of what I needed. Wait now. Let me get all my paper in the right spot so I know which goes where. Okay, that goes there. It's important to cut it on the right side, otherwise you'll be flipped around. And I wasn't paying attention there. Okay, here we go. All right, so there's that for right now, but I am going to recut this piece because I want it to be the different. This is not going to work over here. Yes, yes, it will. Okay, this will work here, like a little puzzle here. There we go. All right, so we got that side done. Let's do the other side. Using this piece as my pattern, I'll trace it out. And I'll have to trim this side as well. So let me know in the comments if you like to create pieces with paper, if you've ever tried it. It's just kind of a fun alternative to just painting. There we go. We're getting there. Okay. So then I could just leave the top brown, but I think I'm going to just I'm going to do one of the polka dots on the top and introduce a third pattern. So let's grab my polka dots and trace that out. Not gonna work there. Okay. So I got my polka dot top here, and I'm just gonna trim off the edges of that as well. And there we go. I think that's gonna be really cute. And I'm also going to add a heart to that. So we'll have a little heart in the middle, which I will paint. Actually, I think I like this bigger heart. And isn't that just cute? Okay, so let's glue all of our pieces down. And I'm going to use some Mod Podge for that. And I'm just going to put Mod Podge right on my wood block here. And I'll probably be covering up some of the areas that we're going to see that's peeking through, but that's okay. Because it will dry clear. And this will just make it a lot easier to put all our pieces in. And I've got way too much glue here. Okay. And then I'm going to take a card, an old gift card here, and just smooth it all out and push out any excess. So, Cora, you did a flower. I've done paper flowers before, and those are fun. My daughter graduated, I think, about the same time. I can't recall the date right now. I know that's bad, but I'm terrible at dates. And we did huge paper flowers for her decorations for graduation in her favorite colors. So, okay, so I'm going to blow dry this real quick, get it dry so I can distress it a little bit because I like to distress things. Okay, and then I'm going to take my block here and just start taking these edges, sanding the paper even a little bit. Roughing it up. And this also helps if you had, like up at the top here, I had just a little excess paper hanging off. By sanding it at an angle down and away from the edge, cleans up those excess paper, or helps essentially tear it off and clean it up a little bit. So you don't have to try and take a little pair of scissors or an X-Acto knife after it. The sanding block really will take care of all of that. Okay, so I've sanded the edges, and you can see some of that white peeking through. It was already painted white. And then I also sanded some of the finish off the paper. So we've got these really great markings where the envelope just looks worn. It's maybe gone through our postal, it's been in our postal service system a little bit, so it's nice and worn. But you can still see those brown lines peeking through, which I love. So the last step for this side then will be to add our heart, which I'm going to just leave. Actually, I'll paint it this brown color. Here. And I'm going to paint it, but then wipe most of it away so it looks more like a stain. So I'm just going to take a baby wipe and wipe it off after I painted it. That's going to take most of that pigment away and reveal the wood grain underneath. You can kind of see that wood grain there, which is something that I love. And then we'll just glue this on. And now whatever side, however we display this little envelope, if we have it sitting upright, and if you use it, say, in the center of your table as a centerpiece with other items, you'll also be able to have it look nice on both sides. So give that a second to dry, and then I'll show you the other side. So that's going to look super cute with my little books that I made last week. And be sure to be on the lookout for the video we do next week. I'll try and post a time on that, but we'll be doing a video on how I decorate a tiered tray with the new Valentine stuff we made. Okay, so just to recap, there's the paper side. And then here is just the white side. And they both are super cute. There you go. an easy Valentine decor piece, just using a piece of scrap wood. And I made these hearts on our laser, but I know you can get little heart cutouts at any of the craft stores. And if you couldn't find wood heart cutouts, you could just make them out of paper as well and glue those on. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed and give it a try. I hope that inspires you to create some new decor pieces for the holiday season. Or maybe this inspires you to create something for a different holiday. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I will chat with you later. Bye.